Honestly, I just love herbs. The feel, the texture, the aroma, the flavour. It's like a lost tradition, something that we've forgotten along the way. When you go into a supermarket and you buy something, some sort of packet ingredients off the shelf, and it lists the ingredients, and there's spices mentioned in those ingredients, they don't actually rate for having a nutritional value. And that is just so bizarre because they have such medicinal healing properties. They have such benefit to every part of our body that it makes no sense that we've been taught to treat them as garnish, that or flavouring, or food enhancer, rather than actually have a full understanding of how good they can be for supporting our health, depending on what our needs are. I love the history of it all, from early Egyptian times, embalming with the bodies of the dead with cassia and cinnamon, to Roman times. They'd go to war over things like gold and spices and essential oils and revered herbs. Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas in search of the Spice Islands. Nature knows how to balance us. And if you understand the nutrition that's available to you in nature, then it's really easy to bring your body into balance and support your overall health and wellness. It's one of the reasons that I created this herbal nutrition workshop for people. We need to know this wisdom. We need to start, if the world has shown us anything in recent years, we need to start taking responsibility for our own health and wellness with simple strategies, easy tasks that nurture and support us as we go through life. So let's get into this course. I'm really looking forward to sharing some of the information that I've accumulated over the years and have great personal experience with. So let's talk about herbal nutrition in more detail. When I discuss herbal nutrition with you in this workshop, I'm going to be talking about herbs consumed not just as food, but more from a perspective of herbal tea. Dried herbs lock in their nutritional component, and when we steep them in hot boiling water and allow them to sit for a few minutes, that water then becomes infused with that nutritional component. We then drink it, hydrating the body because it's a water base. There's nothing there for the body to be distracted by or having to process for us. And we're able, at a cellular level, we're able to absorb these nutrients and their benefits. Sometimes we can actually fix what ails us within the space of 10 minutes and a cup of tea. Who'd have thought, hey? So let's begin with dandelion flowers. They're beautiful. You make Santa Claus wishes with them when they get turned to seed. We can use the leaves. We can also use the roots. But the dandelion flowers themselves have been known to reduce cholesterol levels and protect our gallbladder. They can slow cancer growth and prevent it from spreading. They detoxify the liver and can prevent some serious UVB damage on the skin at a cellular level. So having the odd cup of dandelion flower tea certainly doesn't go astray when you live in Australia or under that hot sun. It's very rich in vitamin C, fibre, potassium, iron, calcium, magnesium, zinc, and phosphorus, and it boosts our immune system. Passion flower is another spectacular looking flower. It boosts the GABA levels in the brain, which is what promotes our relaxation, pain relief, and enhances our mood. Passion flower I personally use for when I'm having trouble sleeping because it has a nice mild sedative effect, and it gives me a relaxation feeling that allows me to drift off a little easier. It's also been shown to ease generalized anxiety and has obviously fewer side effects than prescribed sedatives. And it's also very effective in reducing the intensity of menopausal hot flashes. Still on flowers, Hibiscus flowers are gorgeous. When they're dried, they have a bit of a red tinge to them. They are naturally calorie and caffeine free, and they've been historically used to decrease body temperature, treat heart disease, and soothe a sore throat. They are packed with antioxidants. It may help lower blood pressure and definitely promotes weight loss. And it is shown to increase good cholesterol and decrease bad cholesterol and triglyceride levels. Now, when it comes to weight loss with hibiscus flowers, when you put them in your tea, because they're often red or pink, they'll turn the tea a different colour and it'll be a shade of pink. Hibiscus flowers, if you just have them on their own, could be a little bit bitter in flavour. Don't add sweetener. That bitterness is part of what is necessary for the activation of enzymes in our body and our metabolism to kick in for the weight loss aspect of it. And it complements really well, just a sprinkling of it with other teas and other herbs when you're making a tea. And it's also a diuretic. So it helps us get rid of any excess fluid that we may be carrying in the body. Chamomile flowers. I try to grow these. They're so hard to grow. Well, it probably helps if I water my plants more often. I'm not very, very much of a gardener, but I do love herbs and I do love flowers. And chamomile flower is a gorgeous, gorgeous herb. When it is dried, the way that it smells and the fact that the nectar, it's almost like the honey from the bees is still in the flower. It can smell so rich. Now, when you go to the supermarket and you buy chamomile tea, that's not the quality of what you get. You don't get the whole flowers in the tea bags that you buy. This is why I encourage people to either grow their own herbs or effectively find an organic supplier. The supplier I highly recommend for Australia is Austral Herbs, Austral, Austral Herbs. They are a fantastic organic supplier. They source from all over the world and they source from local growers as well. But fantastic in their delivery time, in the products that they sell. Never have I had a problem, and I've been purchasing herbs from Austral Herbs for nearly 10 years. Chamomile flowers. So chamomile tea has anti-estrogenic effects, which aids in slowing down or preventing possibly osteoporosis. It's going to reduce inflammation in the body. It also helps with sleep and relaxation, so it's lovely to mix with passion flower. It aids in treating diabetes by lowering our blood sugar, and some studies have suggested that chamomile tea may even target cancer cells or even prevent those cells from developing. So you could see that chamomile and dandelion would be nice together for such, if you're looking to treat such issues. Then we got good old lavender. Everybody either loves it or hates it. Everybody knows what it is, though. Lavender is fantastic, not just as a herb, but as an essential oil. I highly recommend it. It also colours your water if you're making a tea with it. Now, you're not going to use the stem. If you've got lavender growing out in your garden, you're going to cut it so that you can dry it with the stem on, but it's then just the flower petals that you're going to use when you make your tea. Now, it's going to improve sleep, induce calm and relaxation. It also reduces inflammation and aids the body's detoxification. It supports our digestive health and it can help relieve indigestion, gas and bloating. It boosts the immune health and aids the body to fight off infection. And it aids respiratory health by opening up the airways. It also has a beautiful calming aroma that can treat nausea, providing that you don't find the smell of lavender off-putting to begin with. So lavender is another one of those beautiful flowers that is very strong in flavour, has a bit of a bitter taste to it, so it accompanies other things well. If I've got a bit of indigestion or feeling a bit bloated, I would put lavender flowers with peppermint tea because I quite like the softness of peppermint tea, and it's strong enough to overpower the lavender flavour because I'm not a fan of the bitter, even though I know it's good for me. Sometimes I do tolerate it. But the two together amplify each other in such a way that it really helps my tummy settle down straight away. Lemon balm. This is such an underrated plant because it does so many good things. And as an essential oil, the melissa flower that comes off it, it's amazing, the fragrance. But this humble little garden plant that, grows beautifully alongside your basil or even your tarragon. This is such a gem to have in your garden and definitely to have dried in your pantry. This can bring down your stress levels and help you to relax, but it also boosts your mood. It's going to reduce your symptoms of anxiety. This is the go-to herb for anxiety. Also, nervousness and excitability. It assists in boosting our cognitive function. It can relieve indigestion. It also helps to treat nausea, but it's very good for minimizing menstrual cramps and, ironically, toothaches. It can also ease headache pain. So lemon balm's just one of those fantastic little go-to herbs. You've got some period pain, you've got a toothache, you've got a headache, you're feeling like you've got a bit of anxiety before an event or something like that. A little cup of tea of lemon balm soothes all that ails you. Oolong green tea. I can't say enough good things about oolong green tea. My first experience with oolong green tea was when I worked in a cafe in Melbourne, and I met this little Chinese man. And I say little because I'm only 5'8" and he was as tall as me, maybe a little bit shorter. And I was chatting with him one day because he always made a pot of tea. And I said, "What is it that you're drinking?" He said, "Oolong, oolong." And I didn't understand. And I said, "What is oolong?" He said, "It's a tea." And he got me some and I tried it. It was very nice. He said, "This is the real green tea." And I said, "But it's black," because I was expecting the tea to be green. And this was going back when I was 20 years of age and had no clue about herbs or anything like that as such. And he said, "I drink this every day. It keeps you healthy on the inside." I said, "Oh, okay." And we were talking about his family, and he mentioned that he had 5 children. And I said, "How old are you?" And he said, "I'm 56. And this man did not look a day older than me, and I was 22 at the time. So if he had been drinking that every day of his life and had 5 children, I know that he probably had good genetics too, for those of you that are thinking that. However, this is a very potent tea for antioxidants, and antioxidants is what fights the aging process on us. And he would have drank a pot a day. The other thing I've noticed about green tea is when I gave up coffee and I substituted for green tea, I noticed that coffee, because these two things are both stimulants. So green tea is also a stimulant. So coffee will give you a pick-me-up. It'll last so long and then you drop off again. You need another coffee. Oolong tea doesn't do that. It gives you the pick-up. It holds you there for the better part of the day. And I found that I could get through the same amount of energy levels with 1 cup of green tea as I could with 3 to 4 cups of coffee. So it's very good as far as stimulating the body, the alertness of the brain, the metabolism as well. And this is going to help with weight management. It reverses aging by reducing the free radicals in the body with its antioxidants. It's got polyphenols that lower blood sugar levels and reduce insulin spikes and can lower cholesterol. It's high in amino acid called L-theanine, which studies have shown has a cognitive effects like improved brain activity and better sleep quality, and reduces stress and anxiety. It's also a fantastic source of manganese, potassium, magnesium, niacin, and sodium. This is a must too. It's very often the base in a chai tea. When I drink chai, I don't use black tea because I don't want any caffeine. However, oolong green tea on its own, when I need a caffeine hit, is absolutely divine. And here we are to dandelion leaf. So we talked before about the flowers. The leaf does some slightly different things. It prevents water retention in the kidneys and stimulates your digestion. It boosts antioxidant activity. It helps regulate blood sugar levels, and it aids in the management of high blood pressure. It also fights inflammation with its antioxidant properties, and it's also an excellent source of potassium. So a beautiful plant that we can use the whole lot of. You can even see the roots in this photo where it's been chopped off, and the roots would be used for making coffee. Peppermint tea, good old peppermint tea. Everybody reaches for peppermint tea when they're talking herbal tea, when there's 25 different teas to choose from and you don't know, you go with peppermint because it's tried and trusted. It's naturally sweet, it's caffeine free, and it can aid in your weight loss. It improves bad breath with its antibacterial properties, and it also makes your mouth feel nice and fresh. It helps prevent muscle contractions and reduces the intensity and length of menstrual cramps. It can improve energy levels and reduce daytime fatigue. And the aroma of peppermint tea may help relax muscles and improve headache pain. So it's also a standard go-to. And you can mix peppermint tea with any of the herbs that we've already mentioned if you want to flavour it just slightly differently for yourself. Sometimes when you're experimenting with new herbs, it's always good to taste the herb on its own so that you know. But then peppermint is just a wonderful additive to any tea blend that you may want to make if you're looking for just something that's going to freshen up your mouth, lighten up the belly, and peppermint tea is your go-to for that. Sage leaf. Now, whether we're using it for incense, for clearing and cleansing, or just liking the smell of it, sage is also beautiful fresh. A lot of people have this growing in their gardens. It's beautiful on roasted veggies, cut up fresh. But as a tea, it improves our memory and it can get rid of night sweats. So people who've suffered from, going through menopause, and you can be dripping wet laying in bed of a night time because your body temperature is just trying to regulate. A cup of sage leaf tea before you go to bed will actually bring that right down to normal levels for you. It contains several anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds. It relieves oral pain and inflammation due to antibacterial and wound healing benefits. It's got like an antiseptic to it. It contains camphor and carnosol, which can help prevent skin damage, and it supports women's health and menopause by reducing those hot flushes that we just talked about. Lemon verbena. This is like lemon balm in the sense of one of those magical herbs that everybody should have, but not too many people know about. It helps eliminate phlegm and mucus. It's effective in treating respiratory congestion. If you've got a flu, this is my go-to. It reduces fever. It's going to boost the immune system. It aids in weight loss and helps regulate the appetite. So it's been very good as something for people to drink who maybe have eating disorders, don't like to eat, but also elderly people as well, as their appetite reduces as they get older. Sometimes putting lemon verbena into their diet of a cup of tea once a day or a couple of times a week, that's going to help regulate that appetite for them so it's a little bit more consistent. It's also very beneficial in developing muscle mass. So when you are training and you are wanting to put on a bit of muscle, this makes a great iced tea. Take it to the gym with you. Have a drink. Well, hydrate yourself with it. It reduces joint pain and it can also relieve stomach issues. Mugwort, another fantastic herb. It's good for treating anxiety, depression, and chronic stress levels. It's used to settle the stomach and ease indigestion for generations and generations. They've been doing this. It may increase bone mineral density and improve your vision health. It strengthens the immune system and aids the body to eliminate toxins. And it's used to stimulate and regulate menstruation and support the body as it changes through menopause. So mugwort is a lovely, friendly herb for women going through menopause. But not only that, in traditional Chinese medicine, the little sticks called moxa sticks, I don't know if anybody's heard of them before, but they look like a big fat cigar, and you light the end of them and they burn very, very slowly, and they use them for heat therapy. Well, traditionally, the herb inside the moxa stick used for heat therapy is mugwort. So there's multiple uses for mugwort and a cup of tea. And it's also said from a spiritual perspective, mugwort helps you to remember your dreams. So a great herb to have and highly recommend it. Rosemary. No garden or herb garden is complete without rosemary. It's a great companion plant. It contains compounds that are shown to have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial effects. This is also one of my go-tos when I've got a flu. It helps lower high blood sugar levels. It can reduce anxiety, boost your mood, and improve your concentration and memory. Evidence also suggests that the tea may benefit your eyes, your heart, and digestive health, and support weight loss. It can also treat hair loss by using the tea as a rinse. So you would make a tea and then you could rinse your hair with it, and it helps apparently nourish the cells and the hair strands so that they don't fall out so easily. Thyme. It's a beautiful herb as well. It's very strong in its antibacterial, antifungal, and antimicrobial properties. It is packed with antioxidants and immune-boosting vitamins and minerals, and it fights off bacteria and fungus. So if you're making your own tea blend for a cold, flu, sinus infection, anything like that, thyme is an ingredient that you want in that blend. It is a natural calming and supporting effect on the neurological system, very health and soothing coughs, and relieving chest congestion. It also reduces inflammation. So, when your head's all stuffed up and your chest is all full of gunk. I sold a lot of this in 2020, this particular herb. I wonder if any of you can remember why. Lemongrass. Lemongrass is often used to treat digestion issues like constipation, bloating, and indigestion. Now, it's an anti-inflammatory. It helps with stomach and menstrual cramps. It has antioxidant and antimicrobial properties, so it may prevent the growth of some bacteria and yeast, meaning if you've got, sometimes when we have a very full bloated belly, we can have a candida infection, a yeast infection in our gut. Lemongrass will help bring that bloating down, and it could potentially help it to not develop further and worse. It helps to accelerate your metabolism and promote weight loss as being a natural diuretic, which helps us to get rid of excess fluid. And it contains substances that are thought to relieve pain and swelling and reduce fever. Love lemongrass. Ginger is also fantastic as a herb. It's actually a root, but as a tea, it can be fantastic. And I will talk a little bit about lattes. If you've got a milk frother at home, finely ground ginger mixed with some other herbs can make a beautiful tasting latte. But we'll get into those recipes a little further on. Ginger is going to be a great choice at the onset of a cold, as it is a diaphoretic. So in other words, it encourages you to sweat, and it helps treat feverish conditions like influenza. So sometimes when we have a fever and we're not well, you've heard the expression, we need the fever to break. That breaking of that fever is when the body breaks into a sweat and starts to perspire, and it's starting to regulate. Ginger is going to help support you to get there quicker. It's widely used to reduce symptoms associated with motion sickness, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, and cold sweats. And it's high in gingerol, which is a potent anti-inflammatory compound that relieves pain. And it can also calm down the digestive system and soothe the intestinal tract. It's all about the tummy ginger. It's fantastic. Cardamom. Love cardamom. One of my favorite ingredients in chai. Historically, it was used to help with oral health and digestion, but it's often mixed with other medicinal spices to relieve discomfort, nausea, and vomiting. Anti-inflammatory, it helps to soothe and reduce inflammation in the body. It can lower blood pressure, improve breathing, and aid weight loss. And it has a high antioxidant content that can decrease waist circumference and fatty liver. Fatty liver being the most important thing that contributes to our bellies getting larger and rounder. It may reduce and prevent anxious behaviours by creating a calming effect. It's a very strong flavour, goes nice in a coffee, even just a few pods, crushed into a mortar and pestle and dropped into a coffee, and it flavours it really nicely. Nutmeg. This is for all our panic attack sufferers, major anxiety sufferers. Nutmeg is your go-to. It's like a chill pill. It contains powerful anti-inflammatory plant compounds that acts as antioxidants, and it can assist in healing from wounds and injuries, and especially chronic inflammation. It gives you a very sedative, relaxed type of feeling when you consume nutmeg, and it has various health benefits for people with conditions like heart problems, blood sugar control, and skin problems like acne. Nutmeg is also very, very good for supporting that. Nutmeg is great for your brain and mental health, and it is known to boost your mood, making you feel a bit more relaxed and easy to get along with. And it really, really does work. I've often recommended it to people when they're looking for a chill pill and they're not a drinker of alcohol or anything like that. Nutmeg's the go-to. Definitely worthwhile having at night time. Don't drink it first thing in the morning unless you're a high anxiety sufferer. The high anxiety sufferer could have nutmeg first thing in the morning. It'll drop them down at a perfect operating level for the day. For someone who does not suffer from anxiety, to have a cup of nutmeg tea in the morning, you're probably going to find yourself very sleepy around the time of the day. You should be pretty alert. So just keep that in mind, guys. Black pepper. Black pepper is one of the most revered herbs and spices of all time. In fact, historically, the Romans used to take pepper and ginger everywhere with them when they were going off to conquer worlds or new lands. And wars have been fought over who had the most black pepper of all things, and yet we buy it in our supermarkets for a couple of dollars these days. So its inherent value historically, how is it that we've lost this information? How is it that hundreds of years ago we saw the value in these things, and today we go, meh, doesn't even rate on the food packet as far as having nutrition and vitamin content that is of benefit to us. So let's look at it. It was used in ancient Ayurvedic medicine, and it's also still used today in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years due to its high concentration of potent plant compounds. It's extremely rich in vitamin K and manganese and contains vitamins A, B, C, E, calcium, and potassium. It has been shown to decrease inflammation. It increases our nutrient absorption and improves our digestion. And it may improve our cholesterol levels, blood sugar control, brain and gut health. It has also been purported to have cancer-fighting properties. So love a little bit of black pepper. No, actually, I love a lot of black pepper. Cloves. Cloves, you may have had someone in your life give you a clove when you've had a toothache, tell you to wedge it onto the tooth, bite down on it and just let the oils seep into your mouth, because it has a kind of like a sedative and anesthetic effect. It's packed with antioxidants and immune-boosting vitamins and minerals. It can protect us against infections and bacteria. It can help protect your stomach from ulcers and gastric upsets, and it promotes better liver function. This is one of the ingredients of chai as well. Chai tea is so good for us health-wise. It has black pepper, it has nutmeg, it has cardamom, the last three herbs we've talked about, and it also has cloves. It can provide relief from inflammation and pain. It assists with oral health, including gum disease and tooth pain. It aids digestion and helps control blood sugar and cholesterol levels. So cloves are a fantastic go-to to have in the house as well. They're also nice just to even bite down on one and have a little bit of a chew. Cinnamon, also another ingredient in chai, one of my favorites. Cinnamon works profoundly well for me. I actually put half a teaspoon of cinnamon, freshly ground cinnamon powder, in a smoothie each morning to combat the arthritis that I feel in my hands. And it works, guys. I spend all day, I wake up in the morning, my hands are stiff. If I don't have any cinnamon in my smoothie, I notice that stiffness stays with me for the better part of the day. But within sort of half an hour of having my smoothie, I've noticed that all the pain is subsided. So cinnamon has a fantastic pain relieving effect, especially if you've got arthritic symptoms. It's antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal, giving it many, many, many medicinal and soothing properties. It has prebiotic properties, which help restore the balance of bacteria in your gut and supporting digestive health and alleviating gas and nausea. It also supports healthy blood pressure and cholesterol levels, and it boosts brain activity and helps with memory loss. So it's a beautiful soft herb, cinnamon. Fennel seeds. These are amazing. You can actually chew these, and they're quite, the seeds themselves are quite minty almost in their flavour. They're a great source of fibre, as well as they have heart-friendly nutrients like potassium, folate, magnesium, and calcium. Fennel seeds have antibacterial properties, and they improve mental health, anemia, relieve menopausal symptoms, and reduce inflammation. It also contains manganese. Now, manganese is important for enzyme activation, which is important for metabolism and cellular protection and bone development, blood sugar regulation, and wound healing. And it's also thought that it may have cancer-fighting properties. It's a fantastic seed to blend with the next herb I'm going to show you, star anise. So when you take star anise and fennel seeds and you blend them together to make a latte, you are potentially blending two herbs so potent in their antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antifungal properties that they can stop spike proteins in their tracks. I sold a lot of these two herbs blended together in 2020, and we affectionately have named those two herbs together as licorice latte because it has this beautiful smell of licorice because of the aniseed, or anise, depending on what part of the world you live in as to how you pronounce it. And yes, it just has this, it's a very soft licorice flavour if you drink that with fennel seed together. Star anise can relieve pain and inflammation such as swelling from injuries, but also muscle and joint pain if you've had a hard workout. It provides relief from anxiety, nervous afflictions, and depression. And it has sedative properties that can improve sleep, restlessness, and insomnia. So it's also a lovely one to have at night time. It fights viruses, headaches, fatigue, and other cold-like symptoms with its high concentration of shikimic acid. And it also aids digestion, lowers blood sugar, and regulates blood pressure and circulation. Slippery elm. This actually is ground powder that comes from the bark of a tree. It's great for sore throats, coughs, and for symptoms of other upper respiratory ailments like bronchitis, asthma, laryngitis, and tonsillitis. It can help relieve symptoms of digestive issues such as heartburn, reflux, constipation, and irritable bowel syndrome. It supports both physical and mental health and reduces anxiety levels and relieves stress. Slippery elm and nutmeg together are a beautiful combination of flavours. It contains antioxidants and has been improved. It contains antioxidants and has improved breast cancer conditions when combined with other specific herbs. The medicinal value of these herbs is just phenomenal, guys. The way that we can take these opportunities, ground powders, turn them into lattes, even have them as tonics, or the good old-fashioned steeped in hot brewed water for a cup of tea, gives us the ability back to empower ourselves when we know what's wrong with us. Turmeric. I know it's a trend, but it is a very good herb. I just want to put that out there right at the outset. Everybody's into drinking turmeric at the moment. It's been a bit of a trend for a while now. However, it's a fantastic herb. It's a sweet herb. It's very nice on its own. It contains curcumin, and that is a substance that has a very powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant property that can ease your aches and pains. It increases the growth of neurons and may help fight various degenerative processes in your brain. It has been found to inhibit cancer growth and development, leading to a change on a molecular level, and it has beneficial effects on several factors known to play a role in heart disease. When we consume it with something like black pepper, remember we said before black pepper helps us take up the nutrients in foods? When we consume turmeric with black pepper, our absorption increases by 2,000%. So we've just amplified it quite considerably. Cacao. Cacao is a superfood that contains over 40 times the antioxidants of blueberries and is the highest plant-based source of
iron, balances brain chemistry and mood, acts as an antidepressant and boosts cognitive function, enhances gut health and aids in blood sugar management. It's high in magnesium for a healthy heart and brain, and it combats fatigue. It contains more calcium than cow's milk and is highly efficient in treating persistent coughs. I put cacao in my smoothie every morning along with my cinnamon. My son is only 9 years old. He has a smoothie as well. And the reason that we put these herbs in is because as kids are growing or as we're going through changes in life, these cognitive boosts, this baseline, to have a nice source of iron, to have something that's going to manage our blood sugar for us, something that's also high in magnesium and calcium, things that are very depleted in the foods that we eat today. Cacao is a great way to put those things back into our system. And it also gives us an energy boost, but not a caffeine type stimulated energy boost, just a nice kind of lift. So yeah, definitely worth having cacao in the cupboard. And last but not least, andrographis. This is a horrid tasting tea. Straight up, not going to lie. If you can get a cup of it down, I'm impressed. It has been considered the mother of all herbs in relation to fighting infection. Many people who suffered from COVID spoke with me about herbal options for themselves when they were trying to overcome and recover from COVID. This caused people to be able to recover. This particular herb, as terrible as it tastes, it was able to assist people in recovering from COVID within sort of 2 to 3 days, as opposed to week long, 2 weeks long. For some people, it was longer again. So it has it's very quick to draw out the mucus in the body. It's been used traditionally for the common cold, the flu, sore throats, coughs, swollen tonsils, bronchitis and allergies, and any difficulty breathing. It's been helpful for digestive complaints like diarrhea, constipation, intestinal gas, colic and stomach pain. And as I said before, in traditional medicine, it was used to treat infectious diseases and fevers. And it exhibits antibacterial, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, and immunostimulating properties. It's incredibly bitter. Western people, we lack that bitterness in our diet, whereas Eastern cultures tend to still recognize the importance of it and adopt it into their daily lives as a way for them to keep balance. So andrographis is definitely a tea worth having in the cupboard purely for when you're so sick you don't know what else to do. But it's not something you're going to drink for pleasure, I do not believe. And if you do, then by all means direct message me because I need to know how you're managing that. Andrographis is also known to protect the heart, arteries and liver and preserve our cognitive health. So all of these beautiful bitter herbs definitely have a powerful impact on our brain as far as our memory, our cognitive function goes. So then the question becomes, what is not bitter things doing to our brain? What are the sweet things doing to our brain? And that's definitely a topic for another day. But I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you found the information useful, it'd be great for you to hit the like and subscribe for me because it really helps with the algorithm of getting this information out to as many people as we can so that they can start empowering themselves with the knowledge of how can I use some herbs to enhance my health. All of the herbs that I've presented here for you today, guys, are compatible with each other. There are no contraindications to any of these herbs for any health issues. So yeah, play around and remember this information has been presented to you for educational purposes today. Thanks and ciao for now.